Good afternoon, Fantasy Bay. Mike Williams here with another Week 5 game preview. We're going to be going over the Falcons versus the Texans. Let's get it started. This game's going to be at 1 p.m. on Sunday. The over-under is 50, and the spread is -4 for Houston. All right, let's start off with the. Let's go with the Falcons. All right, so Matt Ryan did not have a good game last game. No touchdowns, no interceptions, but he did throw for almost 400 yards, 397. That's really good. I actually believe in Matt Ryan. I think he's a good DFS play this week. I actually think most of this game is a great DFS play, to be honest with you. I'm just going to go ahead and say that. Matt Ryan's been throwing for about 2 to 3 touchdowns a game. He has been throwing some interceptions, but his yardage total and his touchdowns outweigh the interceptions he's been throwing. So I like him this week. Devonta Freeman starting to come on a little bit. He has not had the greatest year. He didn't start off very well, but I also thought that his matchups were pretty difficult. So now he's starting to get a stretch of okay matchups. For example, the Texans are 12th against the running back. You don't love that, but it's still not the best in the league, so he should be okay. And I also think he gets a lot of his play in the receiving game. He had 12 carries for 28 yards. That's not good. But he also had 8 receptions for 72 yards. You like that a lot. 8 receptions is very good. 9 targets, 8 receptions. He turned out to be 3rd in targets, which is amazing. Like I said, follow the targets. This one's going to be a little tricky with the whole follow the targets, but I'll get back with that. Ito Smith was less involved, which I like to see. 2 carries for 11 yards and 2 receptions for 20 yards. That's what I'm talking about. You need to feed Freeman and stop giving Ito Smith these goal line carries. Ito Smith got a touchdown last week. That was Devonta Freeman's touchdown, and it was just snatched out of his hands. But I think that over time they'll realize that Freeman's the man that needs to be on the field. All right, let's go to the receivers. Mohamed Sanu actually led the Mohamed Sanu led the team in targets. There we go. That's how reporters do it, pulling it in at the end. All right, he had 9 receptions for 91 yards. That's amazing. That is absolutely amazing. He was only beaten by Austin Hooper, which had 9 receptions for 130 yards off of 11 targets. Goodness gracious. Julio Jones had 4 receptions for 52 yards, but Austin Hooper had 9 receptions for 130. I mean, I guess if you're going to pick your poison, you're going to let Austin Hooper beat you over Julio Jones, but I don't foresee that to be a formula moving forward. Calvin Ridley had another poor game. 3 receptions for 32 yards, but he had 6 targets. I actually think this is a get-right game for Calvin Ridley. This should be a high-scoring affair. And considering the fact that the Texans are 6th against the tight end, I think that they should keep Austin Hooper down to a minimum. They're 25th against the wide receivers, so I think Calvin Ridley, Julio Jones, and Mohamed Sanu should be good plays this week. This is a very high over-under at 50. It's the second highest of the week. You love that. You definitely want to get a lot of action in those type of games because Vegas is assuming that there's going to be a lot of points scored, and that's what you want when you're picking fantasy players. All right, so let's go down to the Houston Texans. All right, another no touchdown, no interception game for Watson. That's really weird for both of these quarterbacks to be coming off of no touchdown games. That makes me feel like they're going to come out and they're going to try to score some points because it's embarrassing not scoring any touchdowns. Especially losing like the Falcons did. And losing like Houston did. These are both get-right games for them, and they both need these games in their division. So I'm looking for a very good game out of all of these players. But, you know, Watson tried to give you a little bit on the ground, which he didn't do too much. 3 carries for 12 yards, man. And a touchdown, though. I guess that helps. All right, let's go to the running backs. Carlos Hyde had 12 carries for 58 yards. That's pretty good. But he also had 4 receptions for 6 yards. That you like. 4 receptions. That's a decent amount. That's more than Duke Johnson had. He had 2 receptions off of 3 targets. It's interesting. So, I mean, he's startable. Barely startable. The Falcons are 5th against the running back. I don't think Carlos Hyde has a great game this game. I'm looking more for the receivers. For example, love DeAndre Hopkins this week. I just made a post on Facebook. If you have me on Facebook, letting you know this is the last time you're going to be able to buy DeAndre Hopkins at the price point he has right now, because he's about to go gangbusters against the Falcons. The Falcons are 22nd against a wide receiver. He is going to feast. And also, Kenny Stills is a little dinged up, so I don't know if he's going to be a full go today. I do know that Will Fuller will step in very nicely in those shoes, and I believe Will Fuller will have a good game. I like him in DFS, and I like him in season long. And that's going to be about it. I'm not starting Duke Johnson. I think there's a chance he has a good game, though. There's a chance that the game script gets out of hand, Carlos Hyde gets stopped, and they need to throw the ball to a running back, and he gets 5 or 6 catches for 50 yards and like a 30% chance he gets a touchdown. All right, and I think that's going to be it. You got a lot of fantasy plays this week for your season long. You got a lot of plays for your DFS. I'm liking both quarterbacks in DFS. I like all the receivers in DFS pretty much. And that's pretty much it. I'm not spinning up on Freeman for the running back. I'm looking at other places for that. But that's it. If you have any questions, hit me up on Fantasy Bay or my Facebook or Twitter. Mike Williams out. Fantasy Bay. Good luck this week.